Hey, this is David, and this is my video blog session number 2. Thanks for joining me. If you have any comments, please make them either in Facebook or on the YouTube post. But I've got 5 articles to look at today, so let's jump right into it. The first 2 have to do with the Boston bombing. The first one is the fact that the mother is looking to take the body back to Russia of her little terrorist child. She and the whole family are shocked that they won't be able to bury their child in the Boston neighborhood where he grew up. Sorry, dude, you've tried to blow it up. When you terrorize a community, that community might not let you be buried in that area. So Muslim cemeteries wouldn't take him. Christian cemeteries wouldn't take him. You know, it's just a logical conclusion to a group of people that want to reject this person completely. He's no longer part of the community, so the businesses have decided to shun this individual. So nobody would bury him in the Boston area. So thank God the mother's taking the body back to Russia. It solves a lot of problems. There would have been vandalism, there would have been destruction, there would have been some sort of backlash against the cemetery that did take him. So just get him the hell out of there. You kind of lost your right to bury your child when your child tries to blow up a neighborhood. In a related sense, from the Huffington Post, we have a editorial about surveillance cameras and privacy, and I'm a big privacy advocate, but the big push here is now that we have some surveillance cameras, hey, maybe more would have let us stop this event in Boston, and I don't know if we ever have had a situation where security cameras would have prevented something. They give us evidence of what did happen. They tell us in good record and timing where this person was throughout the city, and I'm okay with a picture being taken of somebody on a city street, but I don't think it's going to prevent anything. I don't think more cameras are going to solve crimes. They're going to record crimes and let us catch criminals, but they're not going to solve. They're not going to be precursors to solving this crime before it happens. Just don't have that technology. But what I am fearful of are the technologies that are being utilized that will actually look into your person. They'll evaluate your body temperature. They'll evaluate your heart rate from a distance and determine, this person's under stress. This person might be doing something wrong. They've started to use some of these in airports, and they have detection, like mobile x-rays that they can use to search your bag without you having to open up your bag. That I totally disagree with, but I do think we're going to that distinction at some point. We're going to have some sort of court ruling to say, can the government, through technology, look into your person, not just look at you, but look into your person from a distance without some level of consent, and can they do it in the general public? I'm not going into a subway, I'm not going into a stadium, I'm not going into a library, I'm not going into a private building. I'm on the street. What can the government do to me? You need to start asking yourself, what does the government have a right to look at when I'm literally standing on the street? And the third article is concerning the Benghazi cover-up. And CBS actually used the C word this weekend. Bob Schieffer came out and used the term cover-up. It was a kind of a surprising term to hear them say. So go to the website, watch the page. I don't think the media is going to ignore this like I thought they would. This new guy coming out and talking about what we knew at the time, because it was the second in command in the country. This isn't some low-level administrator or low-level pencil pusher from the CIA. This was the second guy in charge who's talking about all this. It's going to be fascinating to watch this come out. because this guy's telling a really good story. He's credible, and I don't think the media can ignore his position, because it comes out and is diametrically opposed to the obvious untruth that was told right after the um, the 9/11 occurrence in Libya. You know, a sudden protest on 9/11 turns into terrorism. No, really? It was terrorism. It was terrorism that night. That's what this guy says. Everybody who looked at it went, that's probably terrorism, except for the administration, the UN ambassador, and Hillary Clinton having to tell that story. And it looks like, from my angle, they're trying to protect Hillary from this for her 2016 run for president. I don't know that for sure, but that would be a political thing to do. So be on the lookout for this and see if any of the collateral damage affects anybody outside of the Obama administration directly right now. It should be interesting to watch. Hey, thanks for sticking around through all this. The fourth and fifth article have to do with special interest governing and whether people trust the government anymore. And this specifically started with a Jeff Sessions discussion about who wrote the new immigration bill. And he's shocked and acting indignant that special interest writes legislation. Well, I'm sorry, but they write most legislation, because most legislation covers a special interest. If you're actually telling me that the Democrats sat up one night and wrote the Obamacare bill, you're fooling yourself. If you think these guys sat around and wrote the immigration bill in a powwow over pizza one night, you're fooling yourself. Special interests come to the government with pre-written legislation. They put it in front of them and say, we can get this passed. This is crazy to think that there's anything other than special interest and read into this money, power, push, everything behind all these bills. And Jeff Sessions has to be just either lying to you or is an absolute moron to think otherwise. And he's not a moron. He's been in the Senate too long, so this is just a political stance. Don't buy this crap. It's all special interest legislation. Which leads me to a Gary Hart Huffington Post editorial today, where he's talking about weeping for the Senate. And he's talking about weeping for the Senate because the Senate's no longer this governing body. It's no longer this Athenian place for debate. It's turned into personal and special interest, and I kind of agree. It's purely there for the money. I'm not saying senators are taking money, but I'm saying the money influences the Senate, the elections influence, everything influenced these guys indirectly. This is nothing where senators sit up and go, what's good for the country? What's good for the country? What should we do for the country today? It's all about special interests that have their ear. Different senators have different ears of different special interest groups, but they all have it. Just by where you're located, what kind of businesses are in your state, they all have it. What he's missing here is that we've gotten away from states electing senators. In other words, the state body, because that's how it was originally set up, was that the states would appoint senators. So you had a state interest, so the smallest states had the same voice in the legislative body as the larger states. So why they created it. But now what you have is direct election of senators, so you have more of that special interest group. If you had the state House or Congress electing senators or appointing senators to go to Senate, you would have less of that special interest. I say get rid of the whole concept of direct election of senators, go back to what it was, and you're going to go back to that pristine debate body as opposed to just another cheap-ass version of the House of Representatives. That also leads to the Obama speech at the Ohio State University this weekend, where he talks about don't buy into the negative talk. Government's here to help. Well, you know what, Mr. Obama? What we've noticed is government's not here to help people. They're here to help special interests. Just like you take the Monsanto group and put them in the FDA. You take everybody that's involved in whatever special interest and you put them in that executive branch that oversees that particular interest. Goldman Sachs is now in the Treasury. Monsanto's in the FDA. You know, it's crap, Obama, and don't tell me it's not. Don't tell me that these special interests have taken over government and that I should be happy for it. Jeff Sessions is an idiot. Obama is an idiot for saying, be happy with your government because democracy works. No, democracy doesn't work. Senators don't look at the will of the people. The House reps tend not to look at the will of the people. They tend to look to where's the money trail coming. The executive branch appoints people based off influence and money trail, not, hey, who knows more about food? Who knows more about farming? Who knows more about etc., etc. They say, who put money in my coffers? Who's putting money in the coffers of my friends? And that's how government works these days. Sorry to let you know, let you in on that little secret. So now that you know, you're empowered to do something about it. Just show up and vote next election, that's all. Well, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy it.